For 4 decades, nuclear fusion scientists have been limited by a figure known as the Greenwald limit. This limit acts as a glass ceiling for tokamak-type reactors, preventing more energy from being produced than they could generate. However, China's artificial sun has risen above this limit in a stable way, even surpassing the European model. If you like the issue of nuclear fusion, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Here we will explore how Greenwald's limit has been broken and what this means for the future of nuclear energy. To understand this achievement, it is crucial to understand the underlying problem. In a fusion reactor, the power generated depends on the square of density. This implies that at greater density within the reactor, more energy will be produced. However, physicist Martin Greenwald formulated in 1989 a rule that establishes a maximum density that cannot be exceeded. If this maximum density is exceeded, the plasma in the reactor becomes unstable. This means that the edge of the plasma can be too cooled by radiation, causing a contraction of the electrical current and a sudden disruption of the reactor. This type of failure can damage the reactor structure significantly. Nuclear physicists have always been vigilant at this limit, as crossing it could create chaos in a nuclear power plant. Although they have worked close to this limit, they have always had to avoid overcoming it. However, recently they have managed to overcome this barrier, thus eliminating the limitation that existed in the generation of nuclear energy. The researchers detailed this progress in an article published in Science Advance, where they reported that they managed to reach stable densities between 1.3 and 1.65 times the Greenwald limit. This achievement was not the result of a brute force, but of a refined experimental approach within the Chinese artificial sun. This means that the reactor has operated at 165% of its maximum theoretical capacity without disruptions. It is comparable to finding that an engine designed for 200 kilometers per hour can operate at 330 kilometers per hour constantly and without overheating. The key to this success was not simply to increase the amount of gas, but to modify how the artificial sun interacts with its walls. Unlike other reactors, this one has tungsten walls, a metal that supports better heat and pollutes less plasma. High-power microwaves were also used to heat and clean the plasma before ignition. In addition, researchers validated a new theory that suggests that, under certain conditions, plasma can organize itself to move away from walls and stay stable, even in extreme densities. This is a significant advance in understanding plasma behavior. China's artificial sun has shown that the density-free regime is real, which changes the rules of the game for projects such as the ITER in France and the future CFETR in China, which hopes to start pouring fusion energy into the power grid before 2040. With this new milestone, the construction of giant reactors is no longer necessary, as this new theory allows to obtain the same energy without massive machines. Moreover, by operating in this new regime, the risk of damage to the reactor is drastically reduced. The most relevant thing is that it has been proven that at higher plasma density, we are closer to the ignition, the point at which the reactor generates more energy than it consumes. This suggests that we are nearer to reaching the much-desired infinite energy.